April 2nd, 2024. This meeting is being called to order. So please rise for an invocation provided by Commissioner Tony Haas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Father, thank you for the blessed moisture, for blessing us and calling us according to your purposes. When we receive your word, it is our lamp to guide all of our steps. Thank you for all our many blessings. Keep our family and friends free from disease and harm. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. Roll call, Mr. Dorrington.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Present.
Commissioner Tony Haas.
Here.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
I am here. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Dorrington?
One change, Commissioner, asked the board to remove item 9I. The consideration of Colorado Parks and Wildlife Regional Partnership Initiative, Spanish-Speak Sound Coalition Agreement with CBR Associates.
Sir, any questions, Commissioners? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
Move to approve the agenda without deletion.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Haas.
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Before we go into the second item, just make a brief comment. I hope all of you had a wonderful Easter weekend, and certainly we are so blessed with the motion that we have. So, consideration of minutes, section 2, regular meeting minutes of February 20th, 2024. We have the regular meeting minutes for March 5th, 2024, and the special meeting minutes for March 14, 2024. Commissioners, we had a copy of those. Any dialogue on those?
Chairman, I make the motion, we consider all the motions, consider the motion to include all three sets of minutes, and I make the motion to approve it at this time.
Second motion.
Commissioner Haas.
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes, thank you. We're going to go to section 3, and by the way, let me make an announcement. Today, we have a public hearing beginning at 10 a.m. Regardless of where we are on the agenda, we will stop this Board of County Commissioners meeting to join and get on the public hearing. We have 3 very extensive public hearings, and certainly we have published them that they're going to start at 10 a.m. In the specific order that we have enlisted. So one of them, Chief, is going to be the fire ordinance, or chiefs, and we welcome you here, as well as our emergency manager. Thank you. The next item on the agenda, reading of correspondence, Commissioner committee reports. Commissioner Luis Lopez, would you like to go first?
Thank you, Chairman. Again, a lot of front range passenger rail activity going on. On the 21st, I traveled to Denver to meet with the board and with the consultants for a workshop. It was quite a long day. We were there for a long day. I got home pretty late. So where we're at, that discussion was just going over many issues regarding ballot measure possibilities and the Feinberg bill 24,184, I believe is what the number is on that, which is going to allocate $50 million to the Front Range Rail through a fee, additional fee to rental cars throughout the state of Colorado, mainly targeting tourists that would be traveling to Colorado. $3 for gas engine and $2 for electric engine, and that's going to be, I think it passed the committee, and being read this week and see where the status of that. Included on that, the board, Front Range Rail, got a lot of information regarding polls that have been done, the difference between 0.2 cents and 0.3 cents were very minimal. They were approved in that individual poll that was held up and throughout the district from Fort Collins to Pueblo at a 68% approval rate. So we have a lot of support for Front Range Rail regarding any taxing measures in this initial poll. There's another poll that we conducted now as we move forward. And I'll give my information on, that I gave at the board meeting on Friday regarding that. So that is moving right along. We'll see what the board determines now in April. We will have a determination whether to put a ballot measure together for 2024, or we'll wait till 2026 regarding taxing the district. And again, the district is within the parameters of the 5 miles either side of the corridor. So only precincts will be taxed in that. It will not be a tax to every single county business outside of those precincts. On the 26th, the Front Range Rail Government Affairs and Communications Committee met. I sat in with that meeting briefly to see what that organization or that entity's thinking and moving forward, and pretty much just a discussion on the workshop. On the 27th, the Board of Health convened, and we are still waiting for Walsenburg, Dwarfenall County's appointed liaison to be determined to the Board of Health so they can make a recommendation to our vacancy. So Commissioner Haas, I think you've spoken with Kim Gonzalez and made the recommendation at this time, but we have not heard from Dwarfenall County as of yet. I don't think they have an appointee this time to the Board of Health. If we have to wait much longer, we might just go ahead and go with one recommendation. We'll have to see what the bylaws say and move forward through legal counsel. So in that meeting, though, they have some programs going on that they've been doing recently with the diaper bundle and gender use clothing distribution for locals, and they will continue with that program. Just reach out to the ULA program director, Jennifer Yates, if there's any questions on that. And then they have a week of the Young Child Celebration, which is happening now. This weekend, April 6th, will be at the Trinidad Community Center, and April 7th will be at the Dwarfenall Community Center from 11 to 2. Prizes and raffles and many other different events for the children. So the communicable disease update is pretty much stagnant at this point. The COVID is doing its COVID thing. We're going to have to live with this forever. And they are still promoting a lot of information out there regarding diabetes and smoking tobacco and vaping cans and such, and trying to discourage folks from partaking in that. On the 28th, the Council of Governments met, and we are just moving on. Business as usual. Brian Blasey is now in the seat regarding the executive director position. So far, he is working out some different issues. We do have a really nice update regarding the housing program. We have 20 applications that are now on the books moving forward for revitalization for residents for different homes between the two counties. Now it's a matter of going out to bid and going out to get the applications moving forward and see if we can bring these homeowners a little bit of assistance through this program. And some of the programs, they vary from new hot water heater systems to septic systems to handrails in their bathrooms and windows and suspension. There's just so many different programs that housing program is doing. We do have that position advertised. We also have the finance office, the director's office that is still being advertised. We're looking for those replacements at this time, and then hopefully we'll find a search to assist Mr. Blasey. At this time, he is now currently wearing all three hats: the finance director, the executive director, and the housing director, and it's very difficult for him. And hopefully we get past this point. And then, of course, the rest of the programs are doing good. $471,000 in food was distributed in Los Angeles County alone through the meals program at the county fairgrounds, the care and share. And so with the huge amount of volunteers to the veterans that are assisting out there, the VFW folks, we still have state employees still assisting as well. And then the county commissioners on occasion are available to show up there and give a word of encouragement, because they don't really need us to stand around anymore. So if you get a chance to get out there, because they are really packed with a lot of volunteers. Then on the 29th, the Front Range Rail met again with our board, and at that point in time, I made the message to consider and to put the numbers together as now as the treasurer of that organization to our consultants to see what 0.4% would do. I made the opinion to go big or go home. Let's get the rail. If we have the support route and the polls now between the districts, marginal 1 percentage point of from 0.3 to 0.2%. Why not go for 0.4 and collect the 400 million so we can get that rail coming to Trinidad sooner than later. So we're going to consider that and see what the consultants come back with some hard numbers for us. The issue that I have on that organization, and we don't have the hard numbers from the existing right-of-way railroads for Union Pacific and BNSF, and there's an issue with political issue right now because of the Moffett Tunnel. Moffett Tunnel is a train tunnel up there in the western slope and up by the Eisenhower Tunnel, and it is owned by the state of Colorado and CDOT. So that is now under negotiations with Union Pacific and the governor's office and CDOT, and I think it's holding up communications from Front Range Rail to Union Pacific. So we encourage them, or I encourage them to get that resolved sooner than later so we can have some hard numbers to move forward with our ballot measures so we can be transparent to our constituents perfectly of what the dollar is going to cost for this road. So I'm advocating for that as well. There's some little bit of pushback how the state needs to make the residents of the state of Colorado whole with that tunnel lease. It is the end of a 100-year lease. However, if we can correlate that together with the use of the Front Range Rail, maybe that can be a good partnership moving forward. So hopefully that'll all come to fruition soon. I'm going to push for the 0.4% at this time if we can get that come to fruition. And then South Central Council of Governments had a special meeting yesterday regarding the renewable energy impact study. So there is a $250,000 grant available from the Department of Local Affairs for renewable energies, and it's incorporating 4 COGs, all the southern and southeastern COGs throughout the southern Colorado, and that is including 19 counties. We were the last one to get on board with this study, which we did approve yesterday at the cost of $4,700 to the South Central Council of Governments, which we have budgeted for. There is a possibility that this might be a moot point if the grant is facilitated or not awarded at the 10% match and requested change to the 50% match, which is wouldn't fall under purview. Tara Marshall is working on this as well, so I trust in her getting this accomplished. So we're going to have a higher increase. My dilemma with this issue is it won't have much impact for the residents of Los Angeles County, so much the city of Trinidad, because ARPA is tied to a contract with the city, and I made mention regarding the issue of our own solar array that we're trying to put on our county building here and not allow extra amount back into the system, saving us money. That has nothing to do, no bearing, this is maybe transmission lines and solar and wind, utilizing those transmission lines and other effective. But I did want to be transparent to the community that this has nothing to do with the city of Trinidad's contract with ARPA, but this would be a benefit for jobs, community. It will give us a lot more of the negative impacts on this study as well, not just the positive impacts of moving forward, which I really made a concern. That I would like to see the negative impacts from our farmers, our ranchers, our viewpoints, our wildlife, council, CDOT, along the interstates, the 350 and so forth, and also CPW. So those are my concerns, and that's my report.
Thank you, sir.
Question for you. So during the health department meeting, did they mention of any of the immigrants? Are we seeing any influx?
We have not.
We have not.
We have not. I understand that the County School District might be having some coming in, but as of right now, we have not seen any of that impact, other than, the day-to-day operations of vaccines. I don't know if they...
And you haven't seen an increase there then?
No, but I think we probably should address that moving forward as a county sanctuary type status.
Yeah, obviously.
Commissioner Harrison.
Yes, commissioners, we've, seems like every week we have bad news about bills that we receive and how they're going to be detrimental to the county. But I got to tell you, there's 2 bills that I'm just ecstatic with good news. Senate Bill 159, 159, prohibiting gas and oil after 2030 went down in flames. So two Democrat legislators crossed the line and voted with the Republicans, and we were able to stop that. And the other one I wanted to talk about was House Bill 1375, which was the non-legal existence between carnivorous and livestock and wildlife. And that one went down 4-9. What that one would have done was exhausted every available deterrent to before legal means could be used to kill wolf. That was depredating your cattle herd, and there was not a limited number that was mentioned. Was it? What do you call this? When do you call this a excessive amount? Is it after 1, 2, 3, 10, 20? They didn't have that number in there, so basically what they were doing is making it impossible to use any lethal means to get rid of that wolf that was depredating your herd. So I was awful glad to hear that that one went down in flames to 4-9. On the 21st of March, the Colorado Department of Ag and CCI met. It was Ag Week that same week. Jordan Beasley was present. He's the Deputy Commissioner of Ag at this time, one of them. And he did the report for Kate Greenberg. We've been having these meetings with Kate Greenberg for almost 4 years now. When I was commissioner, when I was the chair of the Ag Committee at CCI, I asked if we couldn't get her as a new commissioner of Ag to give us a monthly update on what was going down, and we could give her our concerns. And that's been going on now for 4 years, so we're glad to have that conversation with her. Senate Bill 55 was mentioned. That's the mental health and agriculture. $500,000 has been allocated to focus on rural mental health. The Farm Bill was discussed. Congress has until September 30th to pass a $725 billion spending bill. And they don't believe the Farm Bill, we're going to be operating on 2008 Farm Bill moving forward. They're going to postpone that probably. The tax credit bill, Pelton and Winter are moving forward with the tax credit bill that is stewardship benefits tied to water and land stewardship. So if you do rotational grazing, flow-till or no-till on your farm, you can qualify for this. And I asked them if it was proactive, and they said yes. So if you've been doing these practices, there's possibly going to be some incentive there moving forward. I also asked, what is CDA doing to help with the large animal veterinarian shortage? I sit on that task force for the state of Colorado, and they said, well, CSU is going to implement more seats for large animal vets. Well, I wanted to know, what are we doing at Colorado Department of Ag? Well, they got House Bill 24-1271. It's got a $5 million cap. It's a grant for $5,000 to $30,000 a year. It's a state income tax credit. So that's how they're going to move. So there goes some more of our TABOR funds. One of the biggest challenges that was identified in our veterinarian shortage was a lot of these new recruits that are coming out expect to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And, you know, that's not realistic with veterinarians. You're going to be on call 24/7. And so that's one of the big services that they have to get across right now. Let's see, what else? I attended another veterinarian shortage symposium in Warfield County. It would have been Friday last week. Katie Kramer from CSU and Sue Vanderwood were there on CSU's behalf to talk about the veterinarian shortage. And they said that they were going to increase those classes by 20%, which would mean 200 more seats. And they're also building a new wing that would help with the veterinarian classes, you know, large animal veterinarian classes. They're going to introduce a brand new curriculum, and they're also going to have a primary care clinic for small animals. And they're going to have a state-of-the-art livestock facility, 6,000 square feet, which is kind of interesting. They're going to have a new equine hospital, with a third of the students are going to be screened for rural Colorado students. So that's kind of encouraging also, that rural Colorado is going to get a little emphasis there. Loan replacement, there were 8 applicants that applied and were accepted. $90,000 of these 8 applicants are going to be used for each one of those applicants to help pay off their loans. So they're making some headway at addressing the veterinarian shortage. I got a plethora of other information here from them if you're interested, and there's a couple of bills going through right now. Senate Bill 23044. 6 veterinarians may apply for that to the 90,000, and they did approve 8 of them. So that was a good deal. House Bill 241271 puts a $5 million cap, and I talked about it already. And when we were in our task force, we were trying to figure out how we're going to move forward to address the veterinarian shortage in southern Colorado. And there was a lot of different ideas thrown out there, maybe a pamphlet. In the meantime, a lot of the shortages here, what does the rancher do? What does the farmer do with their animals when they can't get them? So it was asked of the group, why can't we have a pamphlet for these new age young people that are coming into the industry that don't have that knowledge that goes way back? How can we help them? And it was brought out that we should probably do it like a pamphlet to address like your vaccine protocol in the spring and in the fall, and then maybe something to go along with maybe animal husbandry as far as calving time. And but there's 2 veterinarians that are on that task force, and that concept was met with pushback because they felt that it would hinder any young veterinarian students from wanting to be vets here if the rancher already had this knowledge. Why would they come here? So that was discouraging to hear the vets push back, veterinarians push back, but we'll make some headway on this. Nebraska has a great program moving forward, so does Kansas, and maybe we can model something after what they have. On the also on the 23rd, I attended a futile water discussion. I don't know if everybody's heard that there's a DWR is considering shutting down futile call on small in-stream flows, and so springs up under the rim that are junior water rights, and they determined now. There was a determination made in 1972 that any springs that were developed up to then and wells would be exempt and excluded for ag purposes. And after that, and they were considered grandfathered in prior to 1972. After 1972, they had to meet the rules and regs, therefore coming. And I brought that up. And Rachel Zancanelli from DWR, she was one of the directors for DWR. Tracy Kolsloff I'm going to say that now, was the director at the time we had this meeting. And Dan Hendricks, who is the division engineer for up there around Custer County, he was present also. And Dan Williams from Telka County, another commissioner. And they found this 1959 letter in a drawer somewhere, pulled it out and submitted it to a lot of water users on the Front Range and on the Western Slope, and telling them that they were considering shutting their springs down, making them abandonment. And that was the reason for the discussion. A lot of points were brought up. One of them that I brought up was, why are you concentrating on 2 and 3 gallon a minute springs when on 35-acre tracts you're allowing them to drill 15 gallon a minute wells, thousands of them all over the Front Range? To me, that's a bigger pull on the aquifer than our little streams up under the rim rock that never make the alluvial. And that question was hard for him to answer. In fact, he didn't answer it. And I also asked Mr. Gibbs, Dan Gibbs from DNR was there, the director of Natural Resources. I said, Dan, are these rules going to apply to state and federal lands? And he said, absolutely. I said, okay, so you're telling me that the 16 springs that are up under the rim rock in Fisher Peak State Park, you're going to go up there and abandon all those, pull them out? When Raton Creek is dry, that's the only water they have? And he put his head down and he got a call and he had to leave. Well, the meeting ended shortly after, and then we found out within 24 hours that there is a new director of water resources. Tracy Goldsloff was let go, and a guy by the name of Jason Ullman from Mesa County is now the new director of the Department of Water Resources. Dan Gibbs told us before he left that he would be contacting me soon, and I'm waiting for that call. It's been almost 10 days, but we'll see. Hopefully there'll be some exemptions and exclusions for Los Angeles County. I told him that because of 238 and 181, we don't have gas and oil in this county, and we're struggling, and the per capita income is under 27,000. And they told us that, I said, so is there any way that we can appeal the process if you decide you want to shut this spring down? And they said, sure, you can hire a professional, and he can go up there and determine whether or not that water from that spring actually makes the alluvium. And I said, on our cost? And he said, yes. And I said, that seems a little extreme. And they said, oh, it doesn't cost more than $10,000. I did a little research, it's $30,000 because they did it up here at Loring High. And I said, effectively, this has shut down Los Angeles County. We went from 45,000 to 27,000 per capita income. And now you want to shut down the ag industry? I mean, that would be a death sentence to a lot of the ranches underneath the rim rock, all the way to Kim. And so hopefully we get some exemptions and exclusions. We'll see. That's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Haas. I want to emphasize a couple of things that some of the meetings that we attended, Commissioner Haas, was the CDA, Colorado Department of Ag. One of the questions, there was a point of conversation how they received additional funds. Well, these are the state agencies that are governing pretty much the entire ag industry throughout Colorado. So I asked the question, how are you appropriating these funds? And how is that going to be benefiting my county, San Luis County, when it comes to behavioral health? Right now, our farming and ranching community is being impacted with the stress of just staying alive. So he went back, did a very good job explaining how the funds are being appropriated. But one thing that he connected the dots, the Behavioral Health Administration is now going to be working with the Colorado Department of Ag to provide behavioral health to our farming and ranching community. One thing that it's really, there is a gap in communication. It's a thing of trust. It's a thing of actually a farmer is not going to be traveling to Denver, and simply in there is a close-knit unity of not putting that information out there. Hey, by the way, Tony, I'm having problems here, I'm really depressed, I need to talk to someone. That's just not gonna happen either. So we talked about the whole thing and how the state has created hundreds of FTEs. They have hired hundreds of FTEs for the governments. But these services, we will continue to push and demand that the services reach counties like ours. Just kind of an FYI, to date, yesterday, there were 9 new bills introduced, 437 House bills, 193 Senate bills, for a total of 630 bills that we're working on right now. And we still have basically April and the majority part of May. They're working right now on the lung bill. But that only gives you, if you do the math, say that we end up with 700 approved bills, 5 years. That's 3,500 bills that we have put in the books that are going to be impacting statute, that are going to be impacting on mandates. Chief, it goes back to the question that you asked me. So there's so much demand on our small counties that it's incredible. One of the meetings I attended was Keeping Trinidad Safe, and our public health director, Ms. Gonzalez, was there. Los Angeles County, this Board of County Commissioners applied for small grants to be awarded to the county to provide education on the use of opioids, the use of drugs, the use of so many things. So we plan how these workshops are going to be taking place and where we're going to put them. It is pretty disenfranchising that we have to now talk about fentanyl, cannabis. We have the mushroom, that family that's going to be joining us pretty soon. We also have the methamphetamine. We have who knows what else is really plaguing our communities, but that's one of the fronts that we're putting up, working with local public health, with the local state resources, because we need these services here. And I can tell you that on the opioid Region 19, I serve as the vice chair on that committee. This is going to go on for 18 years, the appropriations, but at the end of the day, we have to have the education on the front end to the entire families that are being impacted with these issues of opioids and drugs in order for us to make any difference. I want to give a shout out to our emergency manager, the Titan Wildfire Recovery. I hope that project is complete, sir. If not, I think it's pretty much done. The Rubicon, there was a group of volunteers that came and basically we're going to do an assessment of the Titan fire to begin to make recommendations of the mitigation process and the recovery. So thank you for inviting them and reaching out to them, and that is one of the great things, to have these representatives from outside the community that come and do these services at no cost to the county. And certainly I hope the activities are went well. And is it completed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, for that, I just want to simply say thank you. The last update I want to provide to all of you, I attended the National Association of Counties meeting last week, Thursday of last week, and in it, we were providing an update. We had been invited to go visit the border, the southern border of the United States, and to be assured that the border is 100% secure. And so anyway, they did a presentation. We had a representative that went through the entire thing, and of course I came up with a couple of questions, and it was a little bit of I don't believe what you're telling me, but they went to a very sanitized portion of the border. And so nonetheless, there's going to be an article that's going to be coming out on the National Association of Counties magazine. As we are sitting here, I just got an email from the reporter, and my question to him and my request of him was, please only address the portion of the border that you visited. Don't generalize that the border is, because we don't know. We only see and we hear what we hear. But nonetheless, that was a very kind of an eye-opening perspective at hearing from some of the visitors that there's absolutely no problems down there. So their opinion, not mine. And that would be, sir?
Chairman, if I may, just a little attitude here. Not very often do we have an opportunity to thank our fellow commissioners or recognize them for the work that they do. But today we have a special day. We have a 25th birthday of Commissioner Tony Haas. And I'd like to say happy birthday to you, and thank you for your service to Los Angeles County. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes, 25 years, that you have a long way to go. Thank you, sir.
That's my 35-year-old daughter.
Very good. And now let me go on and call on any elected official that might be joining us online. Do we have anyone from the assessor's office to provide any updates? Anyone from the clerk and recorder's office? Okay, anyone from the treasurer's office?
Good morning. I have nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning. Do we have anyone from the sheriff's office? Anyone with the district attorney's office? Do we have anyone from the coroner's office? Hearing none, we're going to go to section 5, presentations. We don't have any. Public comment, we have one individual that signed up, Mr. Murphy. Thank you, sir. Good morning. We're going to go now, anybody online that would like to use this time and section to address this board. Okay, we're going to go to section 8. Unfinished business, we do not have any. We're going to go to section 9, new business. 9A, consideration of adoption of ordinance 2024-001, restricting prescribed burning, open fires, and fireworks in the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County.
Commissioner, I believe we will have to postpone that until after the public hearing.
Thank you, sir. Consideration of unleaded field bid, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is our fuel bid for unleaded fuel to be delivered to our Fairgrounds facility. The following results: approximately 8,000 gallons of unleaded fuel, which is stated also. Hunter Valley Oil, $2.53 per gallon. Extended price $9,240. AP Corporate Petroleum, $2.85 per gallon. Extended price $22,800. Rural Fuel Services, $2.5004 per gallon. Extended price $20,003.20. I ask the board to approve Rural Fuel Services bid of $2.5004 per gallon. Extended price $20,003.20.
Thank you, Mr. Dorncamp. Commissioners, any discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the unleaded fuel bid in the amount of $20,003.20 to World Fuel Services at extended price of $2.50.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Weaselton?
Yes.
Commissioner Peasley?
Yes. Consideration of Health Department's Congressional District Spending Application Letter of Support, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioner, for your consideration is a request from the Department of Health for a letter of support for the Congressional Direct Spending application we submitted.
Commissioners, any questions, any discussion?
Just a discussion. I'd like to thank, as a board member of the Board of Health, my fellow commissioners, and Mr. Dornicke for preparing this and getting us to this position. Ms. Gonzalez will be going for this grant for both counties. And it could be up to as much as $1 million for each. And I think the request for Los Angeles County is going to be for revamping the health department building, the exterior siding, the heating and air conditioning, control units, and other things. So depending on the amounts that come in on the grant, but $10,000 to $1 million it's just wide open. But I can't remember, she's waiting for the bids to come in to see what the exact dollar is. So we don't have that at this point. So I thought I'd share that with the board. But thank you.
Thank you. No other discussion, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the Health Department's Congressional District Spending Application letter of support.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, 90, consideration of a Mark complex response, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioners, I had also included this topic as one of your executive session items. I don't know if the board would want to take that up in executive, or if you're in a position where you go ahead and consider this letter that was, again, regarding.
So, right, thank you for that, commissioners. I think that is a great recommendation as we go into executive. If we have the support, let's move that on to that section of the agenda.
Make a motion to table.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of IFB 24R003, dust control supply and application, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioner, for your consideration is INB 24-R003, dust control supply and application. The board, 5 years ago-ish, allowed us to allow the road and bridge department to let it forward. We manually applied chloride with, I believe, good results on the roads that we applied chloride. So this is a continuation of that application with the following results. Environmental Tech Services, $1.50 a gallon. And GMO Corporation, they sent us a couple of bids. One is for magnesium chloride blend, $1.18 a gallon, and then the magnesium chloride, $1.10 a gallon, excuse me, $1.101 per gallon, which is what we've applied in the past. So that's the board to approve the magnesium chloride bid of $1.101 per gallon. We set the price of $191,281.20.
Any discussion, commissioners?
Just one question, Mr. Rankin, do you have this properly incorporated into the budget program?
This was, we have 300,000 projects also. It's
When is the application going to take place, Mr. Dorncamp? Do we have any of the roads that are going to be impacted?
the timeline I believe we have for the first application. I want to say the end of April, and I think they have to have it done by the 1st of June. The contractor, CEO has already asked us if they could apply early, and we're okay with that. So I'm going to guess probably April 21st-ish. That time frame, that may be a Saturday or Sunday, but it's like a day before what our time frame start, we want to start. We're okay with that. And so the roads, did you ask me also the roads? It'll be the same roads, we're going to County Road 42 from Horning to the interstate. Then we got Majestic from the interstate to its end. We got 71-1 going north from the fairgrounds to the rest area. We've got 75 from Holy School, excuse me, the Memorial School north to County Road 42. And then a couple others back west here. I can't recall off the top of my head which was the article, also the old Soldiers Road. Thank you.
Commissioners?
And those are the highly impacted roads that, and our constituents, they really appreciate that, especially during calving season and weeding season when campus calving.
We did have one road that we removed from that, Prospect Canyon, because the residents up there submitted a letter requesting such, and it was signed, I believe, by 20-25 folks. We did drop that one, then we added other roads to make up for that difference.
And every time we pave a road, we don't have to do it anymore either, so 24.6, it won't need the chloride.
And you're correct, and what we tried doing is, when we gravel a road, we tried mixture of the chloride to keep that road in place. It does cut down our maintenance costs to go from blading the road once every couple of weeks to 2 times a year, 3 times a year with chloride. So that's there also.
Thank you. Any other discussion, commissioners, otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve IFB 24-003 dust control supplying application to GMCO Corporation at $1.101 per gallon, extended price $1,981,281.20.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. Consideration of House Bill 24-1366, opposition letter to Representative Ty Winter and Senator Rod Pelton, Mr. Dorncott.
Commission, before you for your consideration is opposition letters to two legislators that Commissioner Lopez just mentioned for House Bill 24-1366 concerning sustainable local government community planning.
Commissioners, any discussion on this letter? Let me make a couple of comments on this. We had a Colorado Counties Incorporated meeting, and in one of the conversations that we had, House Bill 24-1366 is overly excessive in which, when it comes to the land use guidelines, permitting and so on, this is basically, in a sense, an attempt to backdoor the land use policies of our county. So in a sense, the state will be mandating and enforcing through various agencies how counties are supposed to extend permitting and so on. And at the end of the day, we have to have a master plan that addresses climate change, that addresses so many issues that my comments and my response to this piece of legislation at the time was, Los Angeles County cannot be compared to Denver County and Pueblo County and El Paso County, to all the 11 big counties. Therefore, this bill needs a lot of work, and do not take away local authority for counties to continue to do their due diligence when extending permitting. And we have basically a master plan in place to address all these issues, but at the end of the day, if this piece of legislation passes, it's going to be basically through the Colorado Energy's office is going to be concentrating that authority through there, and any plan that we submit is going to be sent over to the Department of Local Affairs and to whomever this Office of Energy deems necessary to. And at the end of the day, any plan or any advancement of our regulations in the county could be done away with by the overpowering from the legislature. That's kind of a summation that I have here.
If I could add one comment also, Commissioner, it almost seems like in order to qualify for grants, and they didn't define, this bill doesn't define which grants this would pertain to. It will be the impact grants, or funding grants, all the other various grants that are out there. It almost appears that it's going to tie an entity to adopt not only the climate impact plan that you spoke of as to be part of the master plan, but also a list of criteria that's within this. So if an agency or entity doesn't adapt to and have verbiage in their plan that addresses each one of those criteria, they may not be eligible for an energy impact grant. And again, it doesn't state what grants are or aren't going to be part of this or other funding grants. And to me, that makes it really difficult for small counties, because we don't have the staff to go out there and develop master plans and climate impact plans, and we have to update annually or every 5 years, and whatever their criteria is. We don't have staff to do that, because we're going to have to go out and hire consultants to do that kind of work, which we don't have the funds to hire the consultants to do that kind of work. So, I don't know, it's interesting, it'll be interesting to see this bill ends up.
I highly support this opposition letter. I mean, it's another attack on local control. It's heavy-handed overreach from our state government. And that's my comment.
You know, as the House continues to throw these types of bills To our state of Colorado, it just shows the importance of what elections results. As Commissioner Hess always says, elections have consequences, and here's yet another one. So I concur, I wholeheartedly support this opposition letter at this point. Having said that, Chairman, if I may,
Please.
make the motion to approve HB 24-1366, letter of opposition to Representative Ty Winter and Senator Mark Pelton.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. 9G, consideration of resolution 24019, reappointing Mr. Tom Berger to the Los Angeles County Planning Commission. Mr. Dorian.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is resolution number 24-019, reappointing Mr. Tom Berger to the Los Angeles County Planning Commission.
Any discussion on that? Otherwise, Mr. Dorian, please read the resolution.
Resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, making appointments to the Los Angeles County Planning Commission. Resolution number 24-019, whereas Los Angeles County has adopted and enforces land use regulations and the master plan for the purpose of providing orderly control of all types of land use activities within Los Angeles County, and whereas in accordance with CRS 30-28-103, Los Angeles County has established the County Planning Commission to serve as a review and recommending body to the Board of County Commissioners on all matters relating to master planning and land use regulations, and whereas Los Angeles County solicited letters of interest to fill a position whose term is to expire in March 2023, and whereas the Board of County Commission unanimously voted to fill the position at its regular meeting held on March 5th, 2024. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, that one, the Board of County Commissioners hereby affirms the appointment of Tom Berger to the Planning Commission, whose term shall expire, whose term shall extend until March 2027. Our motion made and seconded, further vote this resolution was adopted this second day of April 2024 by order of the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, followed by your signature lines. And I'd like to thank Executive Assistant Paul Lassell for putting all this together timely together.
Well, we want to send a sincere thanks to Mr. Berger. He has served on this board for quite so many years, so thank you. Commissioners, any other discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve resolution 24-019, reappointing Tom Berger to the Los Angeles County Planning Commission.
With that said, Chairman, before I second this, I would like to also thank Mr. Berger for his many, many years of dedicated service to the planning and zoning, and the other board members of the planning and zoning, which is a volunteer-based organization, and which we have 2 hearings in front of us today that they have vetted and brought before us today. So I thank them all, our planning and zoning commission, and I encourage any folks in Los Angeles County or any future vacancies to please apply and be part of the solutions of our county and instead of the problems. So that I second the motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of Town of Cokeville Congressional Direct Spending Application Letter of Support. Mr. Dorian.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is Town of Cokeville's Congressional Direct Spending Application Letter of Support. The Town of Cokeville asked us to ask the county to send a letter of support for the direct spending application, similar to what health property. And it's before you.
Thank you. Once again, we wish all these entities that are applying for these direct spending dollars much success, and this is one of the partnerships that we have with our municipalities. So, commissioners, any discussion? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Town of Cokeville's Congressional Direct Spending Application Letter of Support.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. And at this time, we're gonna take a recess. We're gonna come back at 10 a.m. for the public hearing. So we're gonna, if I may, I'll entertain a motion to take a recess till 10 a.m.
So moved.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes.
She's been in this election.
That's her mom. That's her mom.
Of the Los Angeles County Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is now 10 a.m. and we're going to call this portion of the public hearing to session to order. Application, we're going to be hearing application SUP-2024-005 by Juliet Noria, DBA Exit 18 Inc. is proposing a family fun center and venue located at 16011 County Road 71.1. The business will include an arcade room, a large indoor/outdoor space for events with a seating concession area, along with a licensed food trailer. The proposed special permit will not change the zoning, but if granted, would allow for a non-conforming use within the zone, not otherwise allowed without a special permit. So let me, the rules of engagement as we go through this process, we're going to call the proponents of this particular project. We're going to start here soon with our Director for Plan, Zoning and Planning for Los Angeles County. Pardon me. Mr. Robert Lucero, and any of the individuals that wish to testify in this particular for or against this particular project will be sworn in. And I'm going to ask that we remain with civility. Any comments that are going to be made on this public hearing need to remain germane, pertinent to the conversation for the hearing that we are proposing here. At any point in time, I, as the chairman of this board, will have an opportunity, if the conversation gets a bit out of the tangent, we'll bring it back to place, and certainly we'll keep order in this particular, on all these hearings. So, having said that, Mr. Lucero, would you please come forward and be sworn in?
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and position.
Name's Robert Lucero. I'm Director of Planning and Land Use.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
This project was brought before the Planning Commission on March 4th. It's Exit 18. It's the old Kelly's Towing facility. They have an arcade there. They're going to have a venue for dances, host weddings, graduation parties, birthday parties, stuff like that. They are operating currently under a temporary use permit. The project was, initially the applicant was under the impression that because Kelly's Towing was approved as a commercial use, that it covered that. Then she sent an email to an old email address that we don't use anymore. So that's where there was a lot of confusion on it. So we allowed her to run as a temporary use until she got her special use permit done. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this project. I did contact Robin from the Health Department this morning because originally there's some concern with the existing septic system that's on the property. It was set up just for the business that was there, which accounted for maybe 3 or 4 employees. They have porta potties out there right now, wash stations, and what Robin had told me this morning is they have not gotten anything specific as to the number of projected people that will be in the facility. So they can't give her an exact number for the number of porta potties, wash stations that will need to be at the facility. And she wants something in writing specifically. She also wants to know a specific time frame as far as if you're going to put a new septic system in, or if you're going to try to hook in to the city of Trinidad water and sewer facility, since the Maverick station is it's already approved. They went to the city, I think they already got approved to hook into the facility.
So, Mr. Lucero, the sewer line is going to go perhaps right through this property?
It will go, I'm assuming it'll come down the road.
Okay, and then, like Maverick will have to, to look up, and then if they have to go to the city to request a tab to see if they will allow them on the system.
But the question we had for Maverick was also, do we know for certain that the city has approved the sewer line?
I'm assuming they are because they have already applied for permits. They paid the fee, which is pretty high on those permits, so. They were just waiting, the city wouldn't address that until they were approved from the county. Okay, and that is usually how the city works.
Question I have, Mr. Gonzalez, regarding the, sewer line. Is the owner is listed here as a different separate than the applicant? So Mr. Jesus J. Gonzalez, was he present at the hearing? And if so, or if not, was he also, or maybe this is germane to this conversation, willing to install that for the applicant, or how's the process of that moving forward if this SUP is approved?
He was not at the meeting. I did have a letter from him authorizing the applicant to seek an application for this. But Mr. Gonzalez was aware of the situation with the septic because he was going to try and open a restaurant there at one time. No, he was not at the meeting. And yes, he would, it's his property, so the applicant would have to discuss that with him. And I'm not sure if it was the applicant's intention to eventually purchase the property. I don't know what that, eventually what it was.
So the process for that moving forward would be to the application from the property owner to the city of Trinidad for the sewage and water hookups if that was to occur.
Yes.
Go ahead, Chris.
That's about it. That's like I said, I talked to Robin this morning. She would like something specifically in writing as to the number of people that the venue's going to hold at any one time, so they can determine how many porta potties and wash stations that need to be in there. They're very concerned with the septic system as it is. That if it fails, they're going to have to put it. They're going to have to go one way. They have to put a septic in, or look up to the city of Trinidad if possible.
One of the comments on the application that he says that the current restrooms will only be used for hand washing, not for anything else. So, and then we will ask that question directly to the applicant. But that may be one thing. My question, as we go through this process here today, was there any conversation with the planning and zoning regarding ADA accommodations throughout the building, and of course for accessing those restrooms or porta potty facilities?
The porta potties that they had there were ADA compliant. Okay. The way I understand it, they were supposed to bring a full bathroom in now in April. That was also ADA compliant. I don't know if that's happened yet.
Question, Mr. Michelle, regarding the location proximity to I-25, was CDOT at the hearing, or did they have any concerns regarding the on-ramps or proximity regarding the rerouting, such as some of the issues that I've raised to Maverick at this time?
They were not at the meeting, but they do get, one thing they're on our list of referrals, so they do get letters to make comment on it, and then we can hear anything back from them.
And these may, also my next question is to Missouri, may even be from our county administrator, so why don't we go ahead and get you sworn in, Mr. Burke?
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please state your name and position.
Bill Dorgan, Los Angeles County Administrator.
Yes, sir. Mr. Campa, one of the neighbors makes a comment. Will the county be upgrading the road that leads to that property?
Commissioners, as part of another issues that work with Mavericks. Maverick would be upgrading the road. Right.
I wanted to clarify that because that was the question that we had with him, and since they're gonna be going past this particular project, I wanted to, the clarification is who's gonna be responsible from here to here and then from there onward. So we need to work with the Maverick applicant as well as with the current applicant to make sure that this question that is being posed in front of us is responded to, not only properly, but who's going to be the responsible party for upgrading the road.
At this point, it will be Maverick from our right-of-way next to the arrest area, north to their northern boundary. They be Maverick. So that entire burden's on that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lucero, Commissioners, any other questions, Mr. Lucero?
No, but I have one for Phil, and Phil, beyond that piece, that's still 71 that goes all the way, that would still be our responsibility, right?
Correct. From the entire road will still be our responsibility. It's just that it will be concrete up until the northern, from our right-of-way to CDOT to the northern Maverick boundary. From that point on, it will be the same surface that is right now, which is asphalt to the end of the road by the train trestle. But it will still be a covered road.
And for clarification, the northern boundary is prior to exit 18's venue, today's applicant, or past it?
Excuse me, Commissioner, you make a very good point. I was getting my locations twisted around here. The exit 18 property is north of Mavericks. So from the northern boundary of Maverick to where Kelly's towing is, that will still be county burden boundary. If as part of this issue, be the board will ask the applicant of the property owner to upgrade 71-1 from the northern boundary of Maverick to their northern boundary, then that will be something that the board would be as part of the condition of, could be as part of the condition of approval.
And that was a part of the condition of approval for the Maverick gas station, if I remember correctly.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, so I believe as part of their applications, they have to contact the revision department and ask for input. And I think as part of that, we asked them for a traffic impact study, which they forwarded from that, because we determined that they should at least make that stretch confident that we just spoke about.
So, off the top of your head, dollar amount, do we have maybe a cost estimation of what that is by the foot, by the linear mile, by what would you consider in case the board proposes that to this application today?
To go concrete, the reason we requested concrete or have requested concrete for the Maverick store is they're anticipating heavy truck traffic. And asphalt will hold up under heavy truck traffic, but with all the turning and starting and stopping, we're requesting concrete. The cost of that, Commissioner, I do not have a good estimate off the top of my head, but I would guess a couple $100,000 maybe.
And so, say this, let's look at asphalt, since we do a lot of asphalt, and this determination may be off of your top of your head for that 100 to 200 feet.
To increase the depth of the asphalt there, I would guess is around 100,000.
From the north end to the exit
From the
18.
north end of Mavericks
To the application.
to the north end of exit 18, well, not exit 18, but wherever the current property is.
Thank you.
And I was gonna ask Mr. Lucero, what is, do we know the exact location from exit 18 to the entrance of this property?
The distance you mean?
Yes.
I'm not sure what the distance is.
I think Mavericks is about probably 300 feet from right-of-way, right-of-way to their northern boundary, and I guess it's probably another 200 feet. So probably 500 feet from the rest of his northern boundary to their entrance into the old building. If you're talking from exit 18, looping back around, I'm not sure what that distance is, probably another quarter mile on top of that.
And under that county road, I think on both ends of the Maverick, there is culverts for the runoff. Well, then would that be affected at all with applying asphalt past the northern boundary of Maverick? Would that need to be addressed at all if we were to make that a requirement?
I believe you're correct, Commissioner. There's a huge culvert there in that drainage that's still within, call it the Maverick boundary, if you sit along west. I don't believe we have to address that culvert though, because I think way back when, that used to be a CDOT highway, county, or Highway 85, I believe, and at that time, because they put that culvert in there, we did not have to maintain it up to this point, we can go to the bridge part, so.
More likely not.
More likely not, even back at the southern end of Mavericks is a category, they will tie that concrete into the north edge of that category.
Okay, thank you.
I will add that the property owner that was requesting that, the reason he was requesting is because he owns property up on the Rancho Verde subdivision, just to the north of both of these facilities. He just wanted to know what it was, because he said it's pretty rough.
Question for you, Mr. Lucero. If we were to approve this, what's the duration of this permit? Is it an annual permit, a 6-month permit?
You can call it in, you can call and review it at any time. You can give them a 6-month review, you can do it at a year. Depends on, as far as your conditions go. I don't know how you want to address it on the conditions. That was one thing that the health department, they want specifically in writing as to time frame. You know, whether you're gonna go with the city or septic, but they would prefer something in writing, because they're really concerned with the septic system as it is.
Mr. Lucero, have a seat, and then we're going to go out. Ms. Maria, would you please come forward? Good morning. Please raise your right hand.
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And please state your name.
Jillian Marie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So you kind of heard the conversation that we are having. Let me begin by, first of all, say thank you. And second, as I went through all the documentation that you provided to us, and the question that Mr. Lucero brought up to us, is the property large enough? And the conversation that you have had with the health department, should you have to put a septic system? I know that's going to be an expensive endeavor, and that's going to be between you and the landowner. But is the property large enough to accommodate a septic system that perhaps will entertain 1,000 people a month?
Yes, it's on 4.5 acres. And that's the first time I've heard of the health department having those concerns. I've gotten one phone call from Robin about it in February. I've not heard anything back from them. They have not come. Robin has not come and walked through to see what we have available there. So it's really just concerning that, you know, they expressed those concerns, but they didn't come to me with those concerns. But we have 2 porta potties that are regular there now, a hand washing station, and an ADA compliant one. When we did have a concert on a special use permit last month, we did bring in extra porta potties just to facilitate it. They were not used, but they were there to appease everybody. There's 2 half bathrooms currently inside the property. One of those is kind of in where our concession area is, so we did away with that as a bathroom, and it's just a storage room with a hand washing station in there now. The other bathroom is a couple inches shy of being ADA compliant, and so it needed some kind of work done to the walls that the prior tenant had pulled down, wall panelings and stuff like that. So we just left it as is, contingent on getting our STP or whatnot, so we didn't want to put more money into the building if it wasn't approved. And so we're just kind of waiting in limbo as to what to do going forward. In January, I did have a mobile, nice bathroom trailer lined up. But because of the county employees overstepping boundaries, pretty much, we had an investor lock and we ended up losing out on that trailer. Otherwise, we would have had that mobile unit right now. And it would have been like the normal trailers that you go in and that has flushing toilets and that type of thing. It's all self-contained in it. But we missed out on that opportunity. So.
Can you be more specific on the county employees' involvement in derailing your investor?
Yes, so we had, so going back, what Bob was saying about the email on the SP applications, I don't know if it's been updated since then or not, but when I pulled all of those, it had an outdated email address on it. And so back in December, I had emailed the county asking about it. I've only been here a little over a year. I've been a resident for this community for 13 months now. Every single private county I've ever lived in, there's been actual business zoning, so this is completely different to me. And so I reached out back in December, asked if there was anything we need to do since the prior tenant, or the current owner of the prior tenant, had an RV park out there, had a local coffee station out there, was going to put in a restaurant out there. It was under my impression that it was still assumed as we could do that under that. And so that's where that conclusion was. Didn't hear anything from the county, anything like that. Middle of January, I had one of my employees send me a bunch of screenshots of a county employee posting on Facebook saying that this business is illegal, this business will not open, don't waste your time on this business, that type of thing. I can show you the screenshots of those comments if you'd like. Because of that and publishing that in a public platform, we had an investor lock and we lost the deposit and everything on that mobile trailer. And we were going to use that trailer until we knew if Mavericks was going to come in or not, whether we needed to go, the upgrade septic cistern route, or if we could go can we tie into the city lines route. Future plans are purchasing the property. We would be purchasing the property before one of those takes place. So the money that we put in will stay with us, pretty much.
So basically, and I do remember seeing some of that posted in activity. However, whether a post on Facebook or social media is inaccurate would be a different topic. At that point in time, the restaurant / mobile home park or trailer camping was never intended for this board through the owner, Mr. Gonzalez. So hearing that was accurate. And those results of that determination was not a fault of the county employee, in my opinion, but beyond the accord of the applicants, whether it be yourself or Mr. Gonzalez moving forward. So those statements weren't made, they were not inaccurate. Basically, the sheriff who is here today would have to go and shut that occupation of that establishment down due to the lack of not following the process. And the process is this is what we're here today. So thank you for explaining that, but in all reality, it falls on the responsibility of the applicant, not the county. And that's where it lies. And then with the health department having issues with you, you made a statement just recently, or you haven't heard from them. But also, the responsibility relies on the applicant reaching out to those organizations to make sure you're in compliance with the board. Remember, and you've been in a lot of other counties, in this particular county, you're the applicant. It's not the responsibility of the county government or health department to reach out to you to make sure you're compliant, which is the opposite. So just for clarification, thank you. Go ahead and continue with your presentation.
Okay. I will say that shortly after opening, we were told that we were going to have a health inspection done, and that's been 2 months now. So I don't feel that me having to reach out to them every single week, hey, do you have an issue? Hey, is there anything up? Hey, is there anything that you're concerned about is justifiable at this point. Not a single member of the health department has been out there since licensing of the trailer. Not a single person in this room has been out there since we've opened. So
let me, once again, thank you. the opportunity for us to take a look at this application is, I personally take a look at it from the blank perspective, not, I take your information and that gives me enough supporting data to say yes or no to an application. Whatever is happening on the periphery, I tend to not get into the weeds of the whole thing because I don't want to convolute my mind to how am I going to support this or how am I not going to support it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to concur with Commissioner Lopez that we have this information in front of us. Now, how we go forward from here is going to be once again communication. So my question to you, I have two questions. One is, if for some reason the recommendation to put a septic system is there for us, I personally don't think we have enough in there. Should you want to go with the septic system, that's going to incur some expenditures on your part. That's going to be one. The second one is going to be is the accessibility to the property. Is the road conducive to, the current county road conducive to getting your patrons in and out of the facility without any complexity of them getting into an accident, so on and so forth. And as you can kind of understand, the reason I'm going that way is because the county will definitely address whatever challenges we have in front of us. But for me, I'm only looking at the information that I have in front of me. And the reason I don't attend and we don't attend the land use meetings, those public hearings, is because it has to be that simple information that comes to us to make a decision based upon what you're asking us to do. Okay? All right. So, once again, I think that the conversation, having porta potties, is that acceptable? I think it probably is. Having washing stations, it probably is. The whole thing that you have here, you have complied with the temporary use permit, the Colorado food license, you have that for the mobile unit, the walkthrough with the fire chief, you're telling me that you already have that. The Colorado business license, it's already in place. The proper infrastructure to ensure that not only the patrons, but the building itself is safe. You're telling us that it's okay. The signed letter of, for the current property owner giving you permission for the use to obtain this special use permit for your business. So those things are, for me, that's where I come from. And I tend to just block out all the, well, he said this and she said that, which are really important for me. But as far as you working with the public health department, that's going to be on you. We cannot have them, hey, go check on this business. And for me, the issuance of a business license is going to be based upon how we issue business licenses within the San Luis County. So I wanted to put that out there because we want to create a transparency and also the where we're coming from.
Julian, thank you. I have a couple more questions. On another issue, you mentioned investors possibly, or this particular bathhouse, but in the reading here, or the document we have, it says you'll be bringing one in again in April. So is that another investor coming in, or do you have other investors assisting you with this business platform that you're promoting?
No, it's 100% me at this point. I was under the impression that the meeting last month was the actual meeting. Like I said, this is completely new to me from this county. I didn't know that it was going to be extended into April, so that's literally pushed everything back. We're not bringing in any investors, we're not seeking any financing or anything like that until this is approved or not.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question to you regarding your statement and your additional requirement permits and application status. I believe that was presented by you, where you're at the status and temporary use permit, or is that Mr. Lucero's? Regarding insurance for the special use permit, liquor license, and additional permits requested by local officials, is that what you presented in the future? Okay, so having said that, liquor laws are very specific in the state of Colorado, and liquor applications are very specific, especially when this would be private. You're familiar with the nonprofits that you applied for those before, but this would be a for-profit. This would be for-profit. So just a reminder for you, in a liquor license application, if you move forward down the road with a private liquor license, whether this venue or any other venue, you have to list, and they have to be vetted and checked out, background checks for any investors on the liquor license.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, just so you know on that. And then, so the insurance of the special use permit, has that been provided? Because it's not in our packet today. Have you obtained that?
The insurance, yeah, we have insurance on
Is that in this packet? Mr. Lucero, I don't know if I saw
it.
that.
I didn't see it was a requirement, but I do have it.
Might be in the special events packet.
So, okay, thank you.
I have a question for you, Mr. Lucero. Please stand by. My question to you, sir, at the last meeting, I want to put a clarification. I really want to understand. When the temporary license was issued at the last meeting that we had, was that clarified to the applicant?
Yes, I allowed them to run under temporary use because of all the confusion, and they were getting ready to open, I think, in February on the arcade. And I said, I'll give you temporary use, it's good for 30 days, and then as long as you bring the stuff in, I can extend it out.
And you got the communication directly? with
Yes.
that? Okay, very good.
And at that time, was it discussed regarding the SUP application that would go for planning and zoning, and then from there to the Board of County Commissioners?
Yes, because she had to send out letters as an adjacent landowner as a part of the planning commission packet for them.
And so the March 4th or 1st meeting,
Yeah.
she was aware there wasn't a final decision at that point. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and then she was informed at that meeting when this meeting would take place.
Thank you, Gregory.
Commissioners?
Go ahead.
Yes.
If I may, you had mentioned that you have one again out there, is that correct? How many participants did you have, just out of curiosity, because if health department's looking on a local number, anticipated participants to the arcade, which nothing be equal, I just.
Right, so we had a local band out there, and not including employees, staff, security, that type of thing, I think we had 158 paying ticket holders come through.
Just a couple of, I want to thank you for you putting here as far as the environmental care that you're going to be doing in the facility. You're going to be recycling you're going to be serving canned beverages. And I also see that you're going to be doing a TIPS training on all your employees that are going to be serving alcohol. And as far as security, you have had a conversation with the local sheriff organization, and you have your own private security?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners?
Just here, we have any more testimony for or against at this point?
Yes, so please stand by, Ms. Maria, and then what I'm going to do we have anybody else within the audience or online that would like to provide comments or testimony for support of this particular applicant? Let me now ask, do we have anyone in the audience or online that would like to provide testimony in opposition of this application? And last and final call, do we have anyone in the audience and or online to provide testimony against this application? Hearing none, commissioners, would you like legal counsel at this time, or are you ready to make a recommendation?
Chairman, we could go into executive and get some legal advice, but I know what I'm going to get. So we have to make a determination today based on the information presented before us and Mr. Lucero's testimony and Julian Ray's the applicant's information moving forward. I do have some concerns regarding the procedure of county government versus private enterprise and ownership. I've been, personally, I'll give you a personal perspective. I've been a business owner in Los Angeles County for my family for 30 years, from restaurants to laundromats, so operational and operating business, liquor store, and a small branch that we do. And in all those entities, Mr. Lee, in my professional career, I've had to reach out to all of the city or it's just my wife's grooming business, to the Department of Agriculture and so forth. They don't reach out to us. So maybe this would be a good learning experience. I've had fired chief backrats in my business before, doing inspections and so forth with this fire department. So, and it's not really that if it's on the city to do so, it's on myself for the application for renewal on a renewal basis. So I'd like to just state that for the record first, prior to moving forward with a motion. I do have an issue as a Board of Health member regarding the issue that was stated today to Mr. Lucero moving forward. Those are some of my concerns that I have, and what it basically means is to have a good relationship from our business owners in Los Angeles County with the county moving forward. Despite the discrepancies that you've encountered regarding social media or otherwise, but I really do think, in my personal opinion, that we as business owners have to have that good working relationship with our constituents, our residents, and a responsibility to the community, and especially in this position with the septic system. So that is my main concern, Chairman, moving forward. I do, however, believe we can move forward with this with the contingency of the septic system and the letter of the health department involvement and getting that clarification at this point in time. I hate to have to revisit this at this point and bring it back as long as it's what we've already had because of the email issues moving forward. But I do believe we can make a motion to move forward today contingent on the issues with either the city septic and the city sewage and water system being addressed, or the health department being addressed, or just simple report bodies and that being clarified moving forward.
Thank you, sir. And I also want to thank you, Mr. Lucero, for your comments. At any point in time, the public health, or for that matter, our fire departments can stop by and make recommendations. So, and once again, I really thank you for inflicting this dollar investment to our community. Economic development and opportunity is one of the things that we support. And sincerely, if you think that we are going above and beyond, it's because we want the safety of your business and the success of the same. But on the other hand, also we have to go through what's really in front of us. I'm reading a book here. I'm actually not paying attention to the faces and all the detail, but I thank you for your application. Commissioner Haas.
Our first and probably the most important is the liability to the county. And all of these concerns that have been brought up are valid. And I do believe we can move forward with this on the contingency that some issues are met. And I look forward to this happening. Our children and they need this outlet. So
Was that a motion, Commissioner? So yes, I'll make a motion. I'll clarify, Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve the applicant. SUP 2024-005 by Jim and Maria, DBA Exit 18 Incorporated, proposing from Family Center, located at 16011 County Road 71.1. With the caveat that the health department is reached out to, and a letter of compliance will be issued and presented to the Board of County Commissioners regarding the sewage and septic issues that they have concerns, and that they are satisfied with the results of the applicant moving forward at this time.
I would like to add one more caveat, and it could be revisited in 6 months, and that way we can clarify everything at that point.
So we'll clarify my motion with the additional amendment to being readdressed through our land use director, Mr. Robert Lucero, to the Board of County Commissioners in 6 months.
I'd second that motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes. Thank you.
And again, congratulations. I know this is trying, but we have a job to do. We're responsible for the community and the residents of Los Angeles County.
This particular hearing is closed. Now, and Chiefs, we have another one in front of you, so this is Civics 101. We're going to go to the next hearing application, SUP 2024-004. This public hearing is now open. This application is by Ms. Jennifer Redlin, DBA, as Three Peaks Dog Boarding Southwash Daycare and Exercise located at 90 and 50 Santa Fe Trail. The proposed special use permit will not change the zoning, but if granted, will allow for a non-conforming use within the zone, not otherwise allowed without a special use permit. Once again, Mr. Lucero, thank you so much. Please raise your right hand.
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and position.
Robert Lucero, Director of Planning and Land Use.
Thank you, sir.
This special use, we originally heard it over a year ago. There was an issue with the county road that was went between a couple of properties. So we had to come back and take care of that and let it vacated at that time. This application is strictly for a Three Peaks Dog grooming area. It's the old Penny Lane facility. It's right next to the Tequila's restaurant. There was Mr. Binder is an adjacent landowner. He's the one that brought up a number of issues. I think we have them in the minutes. There was a fencing, put up a fence that is between the property, the road that was vacated. He was wanting, he put up barbed wire, but he's wanting to put lattice on it. Just simply, he said, because he didn't want dogs running onto his property. But it's just a 300-foot fence. It's not to keep dogs from running over there. This facility, this proposed facility, is all enclosed. It's got an 8-foot chain link fence all around it. So there's not going to be any dogs running around loose. The only ones that may be loose are the ones, maybe somebody comes off the highway and they have dogs with them and they're going to eat at Tequila's or go to the hotel. You know, they may let their dogs out to do business, but that fence is not going to keep the dogs out. The blueprint update, what they were talking about, in her original application, she had proposed, she was down the road and eatery, like a little restaurant, but that's not part of this application. And informed her she'd have to work with the health department. We need engineered plans for that. So that's not part of this application. If she chooses to do that, she'll have to come back at a later time to do that. Storm drain plan. Mr. Binder was concerned that a lot of the drainage, he specifically said on the motel when he owned it, they used to get a lot of drainage from there, but it'd come down onto the frontage road. But that would be an issue for if the Department of Transportation was concerned about that. They do get a referral letter. I never heard back any concerns from them. Feces contaminated at the facility. They're licensed under Department of Agriculture, so that's been addressed. Public restroom, there's not going to be any public restrooms there. But that's about it. And the Planning Commission, after reviewing it, recommended approval of the project on this. It's not going to be a real big project.
So thank you, Mr. Lucero. A couple of questions for you. How many animals are going to be, is that in the application? I didn't see that.
I think they have enough for 8. Yeah, 8 at one time.
Okay. And the connection to a sewer line, there is, I think it's in black, is that for certain that they're connected to a?
Yeah, they've got a tap on the Pinion Sanitation District. They are gonna get, apply for a water tap from the city of Trinidad, but they won't let them apply until this is approved.
Okay. And my last question for now that I have for you, sir, is on that, one of the neighbors, of course, is requesting to put a lattice on that fence. Is that part of the property as, or does it still stand as the old roadway that used to be?
Yeah, and where he has the fence is just separating, I think when we vacated 50 feet, he put the fence at, between the 25 feet. As part of it is Mrs. Radline and part of it goes to Mr. Binder. But it's not a circular fence, it's just a straight barbed wire fence.
So that's on the south side of this property?
It's between the two properties.
Okay. All right.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm looking at the drawings on the containers, and has the construction process been completed and all the permits to the building department?
Yeah, they pulled permits on those for over a year ago. And Mr. Martin has been out, to inspect them.
And then, knowing the old building there, the former liquor store, I don't see anything in the plans for future use of this facility. Is it in a position where it is still inhabitable? Do we know at this time?
I don't think so. There were some old antiques in there. She's getting all those, eventually it's going to be torn down, is the way I understand it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Harris?
There was another letter in there from an adjacent landowner. He was just concerned with getting all the animals running onto his property.
Would you please, whose letter?
This is from OK Ranch, Louis Osala, and that property is probably back east.
In the schematics, the property is entirely fenced, correct?
Yeah, it's got an 8-foot chain link fence all the way around it.
Thank you, Mr. Lucero. Please stand by, and now let me, once again, the conversation that we're having here should only be germane to the applicant and the application in this particular hearing. So now let me call the proponent, Ms. Jennifer Radley. Good morning, and please raise your right hand.
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
And please state your name.
Jennifer Ragline, thank you. Hi, welcome back. It's been you guys in a while. Yeah, my application, I am ready to get started on boarding. I have that construction completed. We've been working with the Pinion Water Company and Sanitation. We have a holding tank that everything flows into that. All the feces from the dogs actually get taken away to the landfill. We actually put those in our trash can. And again, we're waiting on some more water to the south of the property. You had a question about the old building. As soon as we get into business and get some cash in, we can do some asbestos checks, and then we're going to take that building down, and then we'll come back to you guys with a new plan of that area.
So if I may, Chair, regarding the sewage, are you hooked into the Pinion Sanitation into a holding tank?
Yes, sir.
So are they going to require you to put a lift station in there? And the reason I ask, there's been so much activity out of exit 11 for years, and from an RV station wanting to come in, or more hotels being built. The issue is the Pinion Water Sanitation District lift stations are beyond holding capacity, especially with the residents behind Walmart back on the other side. Have they made a contingency on this, on how you're going to dispose of that, or do you have a contract set up with a local pumping company to dispose of that? Since it's a holding tank, it doesn't have a proper septic and leach field, correct?
Right, that's correct.
And so how's the health
So-
department?
so right now
give
they-
an indication how to move forward with that?
Sure. They, at this time, will utilize that holding tank. It's brand new. We actually waited a year for their infrastructure approval. They at first were like, well, let us get back with all the plans from the architects and the holding station and
Who's
stuff.
they?
That would be the Pinion Water Sanitation Board. So we met with them first because we knew we needed water and sewage. That's number one. And so it took about a year and they allowed us to go ahead and get a holding tank. And we really haven't utilized it that much whatsoever just yet. But yes, we work with all the like Twin Environment as far as the porta potties, and then we'll have definitely if we have to take and suck that out. Yeah.
So, as I mentioned here in the prior application, my wife is in the business, and there's a lot of water discharge when you do such a business. That's my concern of how you're going to remove that
Oh, sure.
properly. So that's why I addressed that
Right.
here today.
Sure.
And understanding that when you do have a boarding facility, through the Department of Agriculture, there's a lot of water going through the drain systems anymore in your buildings. Now, in your schematics in the buildings, I do see you do have drains in the holding areas. Is that how?
Yeah, they're actually P-traps. It's a cage that actually has like a slatted floor. So if the dogs do go pee, and when we're cleaning it, all the water goes down the drains to the holding tank and then out to Pinion.
But that's still, does it go to the Pinion sanitation line itself, or is it a holding
Yes.
tank? So you
It's a
are
holding
connected.
tank.
Are you connected to live sewage?
I'm
Are
sorry?
you connected to live sewage?
Yes.
So it's, okay, so
Correct.
it's not a holding tank where you gotta get pumped out every month.
No, not at this time.
You are charged and energized for sewage disbursement.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
and that clears a whole lot from
Yep, as soon as I get my business license.
So we're just waiting for the water tap.
Right, additional water tap. I already have one by the store that's on the north side. They just don't want me to expand it to the south side, so that's where I've got to go to the city of Trinidad and purchase another water tap.
So having said that, how will you be utilizing that, or will you have to wait until that city water tap is to go and operate?
No, I've got actually water tanks that I use to wash out the kennels, and then I have the fresh water.
But that's not energized, it's just portable.
Right. Mhm.
And then, so you address the building of what you're planning to do, that so it'll be eventually removed and raised to the ground
Correct.
on that. So, other issues that I have regarding the physical site of the, and it doesn't have a colored picture here today in front of us, we just have the connexes and no perspective of the appearance to the exit 11 interstate being the gateway to the city of Trinidad. There have been some concerns that I have personal concerns regarding the optical perspective of coming into the state of Colorado and to our new Fisher's Peak State Park. So my question to you is, how do you plan to address the different color connexes, the property itself, and making it look somewhat of a, again, I'm a businessman all my life, we try to keep our buildings, our facilities, our places to make you a very nice professional appearance for the community. What are your intentions moving forward at this time of your connexes and the appearance of your overall business?
Yeah, actually, with the connexes that are there, I'm going to actually sandblast those to get all the old paint off. And we're gonna paint those, and you'll see actually a listing in here, it shows, and each one of them says Colorado Hearts Dogs. I mean, we're gonna make it splash it out real big. You'll see an actual listing on that. I'm gonna see if there's a page in there. Yeah, there is. That we actually have colors, schemes, and yeah, we actually have a post that shows Colorado loves dogs to really bring people in. And then we also are going to have a sculpture as well. I have a metal sculpture that was built down in Clayton, New Mexico. It's a big wolf. and we're gonna put it on rocks, and it's gonna have steam lights, and hey man, now let me tell you, I come from the old school, you gotta have artwork along with your business, so, and later on, definitely gonna be painted, definitely gonna be upgraded and painted, that building's coming down, the Indian jewelry sign, definitely, so yeah, I'm wanting to make it, hey, welcome everybody, I would love to see our welcome center move to exit 11 as well, on the opposite side, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna be, doing a little bit more, but you'll see some paintings in there that show the drawings of what the colors are gonna be.
And I do see that in the packet, and I thank you for that. So follow-up question to that,
Sure.
what is your time frame of getting all this? I know you mentioned getting cash flow coming in, and that's key to any business. What is your time frame to getting all of these ideas to fruition?
Well, right now, I am ready to go to work. I've been working several part-time jobs in Trinidad the last 5 years. Right now, I'm working at McDonald's at the drive-thru, so I'm continuing to work, but I would like to open it up at least on the weekends this next month, so I can get some cash flow. I do have one of the containers up for sale. I've got 2 people today to come buy that for $4,000. And then I do have a few silent partners that help me along the way, just in case I need a little bit of extra cash. I'm hoping that $4,000 will contribute to that extra tap, and so we can get that water coming in as soon as we can. That's number one to me, is getting that water.
So in the time frame, say a year from now, you have
No, the next month.
But the painting of the buildings. and all
Painting of the
that.
buildings, I'm ready to go. I got the tools, I got the paint, I'm ready to go. It's just, I did not want to do anything without the county approving.
And Mr. Rochelle mentioned in his testimony today that CDOT was reached out to, and they were not attending or having concerns at that time. Have you had an opportunity to visit them with CDOT?
Actually, can you believe it, last week, they actually got back to me about my application. They were like, what's going here, what's going on? And I'm like, actually, I'll let you know by next Tuesday what's going on. So I actually have an application with them, because I am concerned. I am on the highway, they got to approve my signs as well. They have to get a hold of Bob. So that's where I'm trying to do everything slow. Just want to get in the business, maybe put a banner up, say, hey, I'm ready, let's bring the customers in, and I'm thinking in the next 3 months, painting is done, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, because I don't know if the buildings themselves, your connexes, would have to be approved by CDOT because you're not on the right of way of CDOT. But any signs going to your building.
Exactly.
or your business would have to be CDOT.
Exactly, I have my application out there, that's why they followed up.
And also, Mr. Lucero mentioned that you are licensed to the Department of Agriculture. Is that license current and up to date at this time?
I've been licensed for the last 3 years with PACFA, so they've been improving everything along the way. I've been working with the,
Or is PACFA the same as the Department of Agriculture?
Yes.
Regarding your
Yes.
boarding and grooming facility?
that is correct, that is correct.
Chairman, I have no other questions.
Thank you, sir. This was thorough. So let me go back. One thing, I want to just a little additional clarification on the holding tank. How big and what is the holding capacity?
Boy, I don't know that I can tell you right off the top of my head.
So-
It's a large tank that has 2 actually tops to it.
So it has the inlet and the outlet.
Right.
But there is going to be always that, the bottom portion perhaps, I'm going to assume that's going to be full.
Right.
As we get into the hot summer days, we have an eatery, Tequilas, which is just north of your property there. How would you assure that any strong odor is going to be impacting that part of the community? And I'm going to go back to the whole thing, welcoming all the tourism that is coming into Colorado. You're going to see a lot of vehicles going through on that frontage road, going to access the state park.
Right.
But as far as the odor is, and simply my concern is inviting people, and as they go through, it would be almost something that doesn't even come to mind.
Not at all, not at all. No, I smoke tortillas at 11 o'clock in the morning. I love it. I eat the tequilas once a week. They kind of block me with a fence right now, but that's okay. I didn't know. We're not going to have a smell issue whatsoever. They were kind enough to remove some of their animals. They had some animals up there, and I think that's going to help the area as well. So yeah, but as far as dogs, that stuff's going to be picked up, put in the waste can, no smells whatsoever.
So 8 4x8 containers is what you're gonna have.
They are 4 by 6. There's 8 of them.
Yes.
They're 4 by 6, and it depends on the size of the dog, but most of the dogs around here are pretty good size. So we're saying 8, but if there's chihuahuas, little dogs, they can all kind of be in the same cage together. So it could, at the most, just say, I have lots of little dogs, 24 at the most, but that would be, we separate them, you know, this group gets to go out first, this group goes out next, you know, and I'm keeping my hours 8 to 8, so we can keep it nice and quiet in our community. We do have a hotel next to us, so, and I realized that, living at hotels many years ago, nobody wants to be woken up at 7 o'clock, so we're gonna try to keep everything on a down low.
Thank you. I'm looking at your Colorado Department of Ag License Inspection and Consumer Services Division. It doesn't have the date of issuance, nor does it have the date of expiration.
Let me just double check. I think that was the last thing we put in, the last bit, but no, I've had it for the last 3 years. Let's see, Catherine.
Well, you know what, let me correct myself. It has effective date 1/25 of 2024 and
Yeah.
expiration date of 3/2/2025.
You got it.
So basically, this is going to be approved on a yearly basis. Is there, at any point in time, not knowing CDA, Colorado Department of Agriculture, any inspections that they will be, any visits?
Oh, yes. Yeah, just like Noah's Ark, everybody else, we get surprise visits. We've got to teach our staff the Packville way, making sure we sanitize everywhere. And yeah, they will make surprise visits on us.
Okay. The addressing, once again, dust mitigation, and in there I also see that there's going to be a weed mitigation process and program. Mr. Lucero, was that on the weed mitigation program, is that, does the county have the authority to recommend what herbicide they're going to be using for weed mitigation purposes?
If they're on the noxious weed list, we can make a recommendation, but because there's dogs there, I mean, you don't want dogs stepping on herbicide that, you know, so it's, I'm not sure if they allow any kind of herbicide, you know. The best thing to do is just keep the grass and weeds mowed down.
Thank you, sir.
And 2 years ago, actually, my whole 8-foot area was sprayed, and we have no weeds, no grass now. I mean, I am totally rocks at this point, so I've actually had to put some grass seed. But and on the fence, I just want to mention that everywhere on the 8-foot fence and within the building, we always have 2 gates, so we have the dogs locked in at at all times. They're not going to get out.
Okay.
And that chain link is attached to what?
To the buildings.
On the ground.
On the ground, it's all the way to the ground.
You can't dig under?
They cannot dig under, no. And I actually have rocks also around the bottom. And that was a suggestion from PACFA, and I made that happen.
I don't have any other questions, commissioners.
Just to see if we have, maybe I do. No, any other testimony?
Thank you.
Thank you, please stand by. Let me, at this point in time of the hearing, call anybody else that would be willing to provide testimony or comment on the support of this applicant. Anyone in the audience and or online? Okay. Let me ask now if there is anyone in the audience and or online that would like to provide testimony against this applicant or this application. And last and final call, is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to provide testimony against this application? Hearing none, we're going to go now to the next section. Commissioners, do you have any additional dialogue, conversation, questions for any one of the presenters? Otherwise,
But of course I do.
all right, so I expected that.
So, as in the last hearing, you know I always had a mouthful to say, and I would like just to keep our business owners, applicants here, somewhat held their feet to the fire regarding being a responsible business owner in our community. I would make the request to Ms. Radlin. Did I say that right, Radlin?
It's red line like beer stein.
Mr. Redline, that you reach out to our fire chief and the Fisher's Peak Fire Chief, he's here today, Chief Grow, regarding any fire suppression units that you would need in your buildings, of course, building code, and moving forward on that. However, moving forward with this application, I don't see any reason for any legal counsel at this time, but I do have a concern that I would like to really see. It was majorly, or more often mentioned twice today regarding the cosmetics of the facility. And I would like to possibly put that into a caveat of a contingency of that occurring within a year's time frame. There's plenty of time. I know business is very difficult to come up with money, especially with business expenses and overhead. But to be reissued and revisited with Mr. Lucero at that time, Board of County Commissioners, that comes into compliance of somewhat of a cosmetic appealing part of Los Angeles County, especially being into our state of Colorado. And as far as the holding tank, I believe that is going to be approved and reviewed the health department. But you also, in the motion that I'll make, also reach out to the health department on an annual basis, especially with your water situation and City of Trinidad getting that approved and moving forward. So, if I may, Commissioner, make a motion to approve today with those two caveats regarding the aesthetics being addressed within a year's time, and also the water, city water being addressed and come into compliance with the city request for the second tap, along with the third caveat, the health department being included on an annual basis to see where you're at as far as your business will be growing moving forward. So, with that, I make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Eastlund?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Having all that information on this particular hearing, this portion of this hearing is closed. Now, Chiefs, I want to thank you so much. We certainly appreciate your patience. And now we're going to go to the next section of this public hearing. Is going to be a fire ordinance 2024-001. This part of the hearing is now open. Let me first, Mr. Dorenkamp, I'm going to have you sworn in, and then our emergency manager. We may have some questions for you as well, sir.
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name and position.
Bill Norton, Los Angeles County Commissioner.
Yes, so with that, Mr. Dorenkamp, please give us a summary of this particular fire ordinance that we're considering today.
Probably not the best source to summarize this, but this is what I do on my commissioners. It allows for the Board of County Commissioners to set, I would call it a base.
So let me interrupt you for a second and read the title. An ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, restricting prescribed burning, open fires, and fireworks in the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County for the purpose of reducing the danger of wildfires. And this is in many ways the hard work of all the chiefs. Thank you for your pursuit of accomplishing this and putting this in place. I have had an opportunity, and I hope all of you as well have had the opportunity to go through the process in a fire marshal. Sheriff Navarrete, which at the end of the day is the one sole responsible to make the call in conjunction with all of you. So on behalf of this board, thank you for all the work, and we have this document in front of us to proceed with regulations when it comes to burning, smoke burning here and so on and so forth. I think this was so badly needed. And as I have attended some of the meetings, thank you for all the due diligence and working with our legal counsel, which is the wordsmither of this particular document, so we appreciate that as well. Back to you, Mr. Doricam.
Commissioner, I believe you did a good job of summarizing it all. I'm not sure I can do that, except the board will have the authority as is in your authority right now to set a base for any type of fire stage ban, I guess I would call it. And then each one of the sheriffs, or excuse me, each one of the police and fire chiefs, they can add to that and make it more restrictive. And then also it sets up a fee schedule for violations of the fire ordinance. That's my summary.
Let me now open this up and invite Sheriff Navarrete. And for that matter, any one of you that would like to make any comments on this particular fire ordinance, because indeed at the end of the day, it's a document that all of us are going to have to be supporting. So, Sheriff, would you please raise your right hand?
Solemnly affirm under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Please state your name and position.
Derek Navarrete, Sheriff, Los Angeles County, also Fire Marshal.
Thank you, Sheriff. And once again, you have had an opportunity to read this fire ordinance, what is going forth. And at this point in time, do you have any questions, any comments, any recommendations before the approval of this document today?
No, I think it was very thoroughly completed. It took quite some time. It was a big project that we undertook. A lot of work by the fire chiefs as well as Ms. Nelson to get this in place. It was, as you said, it was badly needed, an update for our prior fire ordinance and fire restrictions. They weren't very clearly defined, so this was a project that they set forth to clarify a lot of that language in it. And as Mr. Barnkamp explained, we will have the opportunity to assess fees for violations as well, as we're going to put those in our traffic code, our county code projects, so we can actually get some fines if people do violate this. So we haven't had that, so that was a big piece of it.
Sure, thank you. One of there is a bill that is being proposed right now by Representative Ty Winter on burn barrels. That may also be kind of a part of it may be part of this fire ordinance. Once we know where that legislation is going to go, certainly we're going to have to be, as we in many instances understand that the state will be working in tandem with the county. That is something else. As I went through the process and the language, we may have to align those two. And my question to council would be at that time, if indeed this would take place, would we have the ability to go back and revise the document and update those changes?
The document states that it's in effect on an effective date until and unless amended, and it can be amended.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's just something that we need to keep in mind. Of course, the legislature recommended, rather than cover these burn barrels, open fires. And so I had the opportunity to testify at the legislature, and one thing that we said is open fires in Los Angeles County create more of a challenge to our fire districts than actually help. They were talking about an 8x8 open pit and just throwing all the farm box debris, whatever they're going to burn, and just let it burn. On that particular testimony, one of the things that I keep on mentioning is Commissioner Tony Haas related a story way back then when an open fire actually got away from the firefighters, and ended up injuring an innocent child. So from that perspective, I think we're on the right track. And just know that at the end of the day, this Board of County Commissioners supports your endeavor. We're here simply not to interfere, but to assist and support. And so at this time, chiefs, anybody that would wish to make any comments on this document? None?
Actually, if I could,
Yes.
before you leave, Sheriff, I would just like for Sheriff Navarrete to clarify for the record. So under the statute, prior to being able to adopt this ordinance, the Board of County Commissioners had to form a permanent commission to be known as the Fire Code Adoption Revision Commission, which I believe was formed, and that commission has to make the recommendation of the ordinance. So if Sheriff Navarrete can just confirm whether or not that commission was formed, and if they did in fact recommend the ordinance that is before them.
It was formed in yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff. So at this time, I'm going to ask for anyone else that would like to provide any comment in support of this fire ordinance, either online or in the audience. Let me then go to ask for any comment for anyone that would be in opposition of this fire ordinance, online or present. And the last time, I'm going to ask for anyone that wish to provide testimony or opinion, comment against this fire ordinance. Hearing none, I do have a question now for legal counsel. Madam Counsel, I thank you so much for the work that you did. And as I went through the document, I actually made some recommendations. Some changes, just simply grammatical. I was joking and told Mr. Dorncap and counsel I put my 4th grade hat, first grammar, and so I sent that back to her. So counsel, having those changes, do we need to go into executive session? Sounds good. At this point in time, commissioners, with the email that I sent on those changes, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Table this particular portion of the fire ordinance, go into executive session to come back and make a decision.
So move second?
Commissioner Eastland?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Eastland?
Yes. We should be out real shortly here. I'm going to go to my office.
Me too.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to exit executive session and resume this regular public hearing.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Reese Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes. And thank you. First of all, by way of 100% transparency and clarity, I sent an email to council and county administrator yesterday, and it had to be just one grammatical notification that I saw there. The sheriff in their designee, and so my recommendation for your clarification, for clarifying my question to council was the sheriff and his or her designee rather than there. That was one of the things, but outside of the entire context of the document, it is going to remain intact. So I just want to make sure that, sometimes I get too deep into the weeds, and that little pronoun there is like, how do I take this as singular and a plural? And so, long story, that's what we have here today. So having no other comments and questions, I am actually going to be closing the Fire Ordinance 2024-001 public hearing. This portion of the meeting is now closed. Let me go back then. We have tabled item 9A. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to go back and remove from the table and re-engage with that particular item. Consideration of adoption of ordinance 2024-001 restricting prescribed burning, open fires, and fireworks in the unincorporated areas of Los Animas County.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Reese Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson?
Yes. So commissioners, do we have any additional questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Chairman, I have just a couple of comments, and it's a comment of appreciation. Our fire chiefs, thank you for being here with us. Our fire marshal, Mr. Richards, emergency management, thank you all for being here with us today, and a huge shout out to your personnel, all of our volunteer firefighters here in Los Angeles County. This ordinance here today has been a long time coming. In my 7 years as county commissioner, we've had a lot of discrepancy over the years, from the ranching community to the mountain community, and authorizing our fire chiefs within this huge Los Angeles County. And I'm glad we're finding this day to give that authority to the individual fire chiefs of the particular districts. I think it's imperative that we continue to move forward with allowing our fire chiefs in their respective districts to make their own decisions based on the fire danger in each particular district at that time, because it not only affects them and their abilities to fight fire, it affects government, it affects our county ranchers community, whether they can repair a guardrail, cattle guard, any fencing regarding high fire danger, wind dangers and such in their area, much less burning of slash piles and stuff moving forward. So I want to just say thank you to my fellow commissioners, Pam, Nelson, our legal counsel, Mr. Dorenkamp, our staff, our fire chiefs, the committees that have been put together to bring all this to fruition. And also a big thank you, it goes along hand in hand with fire, with our health department. Our health department just play a vital role with working with our fire chiefs in the mitigation process and the follow-up after the fire, including all of the cleanup and so forth. So a big thank you to everybody that has been assisting with this program and getting this ordinance to fruition. With that said, Chairman, I would like to make the motion to approve the adoption of ordinance 2024-001
restriction of prescribed burning open fire from fireworks within appropriate areas of Los Angeles County.
Second the motion.
With, give me 1 second, Mr. Burnett, with
With the changes of the grammatical corrections.
And that's good, okay. Second motion?
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
yes. Thank you, chiefs. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. So I
Time
think,
coming, now you got some teeth to these ordinances.
so at this time, I want to thank you all for sitting with us through this lengthy portion of this meeting, and now we're going to move to the regular Board of County Commissioners meeting, the last items on the agenda. Section 10, consideration of bills and payroll for the second half of March 2024. Finance Director Coburn.
Payroll as of March 31st, 2024 is $201,480.78. Do you have any questions on payroll?
I don't.
Commissioners?
No.
Okay. Invoices paid on March 20th, $241,268.32. And I didn't find anything that was to be addressed with you, but maybe you might see something that I might have missed.
I have no questions.
No questions, Finance Director? So, hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve bills and payroll for the second half of March 2024.
Second the motion?
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. We're going to go to section 11, executive session. The vote will be an executive session under CRS 246402-4B, confirmed with the county attorney for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions. A, ballot initiative. B, assistance. C, SUP. D, contract. D, opposition letter, which is the one item that we have listed under 9D. I will entertain a motion with a small
Recess.
recess. So moved.
Second the motion?
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes.
Oh, super.
Okay, pizza and cake cutting.
Good.
Coming up for 2013.